Welcome back, Moto Academy podcast, number one podcast in Motocross, featuring...
Debatable.
Can you straighten that thing out? Did you just do that?
This is how I'm comfiest.
No, straighten the yeah. Only you would mess that up.
You would be particular about that.
I'm going to start this episode off with some Magic Mind. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I made you a really good
Allie,
drink.
what's in here? Ashwagandha. Shroom Daddies.
Yeah, lots of shroomies.
And we're in the middle of a test run. So I'm testing Magic Mind in place of coffee for these podcast episodes. So far, so good. Wrong pipe, but it tastes actually good. What do we got in here? Lion's mane mushrooms, some other mushrooms for mental clarity.
So many shrooms.
Ashwagandha.
Stress reliever.
Matcha. Calm energy.
Is it telling
some
you
vitamins.
that matcha is where the caffeine comes from?
Is it? But it's like, it's steady. So sharp mind, less stress.
Sharp mind?
Shart your mind, less stress, calm energy, Magic Mind. Go to magicmind.com/AJCat330.
Nope.
Go to magicmind.com and use code AJCat330.
Nope.
Go to magicmind.com. and
TMA20.
Use code TMA20.
Yeah.
I repeat, use code TMA20 at magicmind.com. Save some moolah. They support
Shart
the
your
channel.
brain out.
And sharpen up. Stop drinking all that coffee. Try Magic Mind instead. I think it tastes good.
Back when you were
using nice.
Back when you were using it in the middle of last year, you were loving it. Mm-hmm. You stopped for a little bit.
Yeah, so it stopped, and now I'm getting back into. We're doing another test run.
Okay, well, so that's your first test. Now give me rate my smoothie.
Okay, Allie made something that looks like Magic Mind.
Just give it a good little.
What is it?
It's a green smoothie.
It smells like. This doesn't smell very good. What is it? What's in it?
All right, we got some yogurt for protein. You got to think.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yogurt, banana, lemon, ginger, spinach, cucumber, avocado.
Pretty good.
Don't put that down there because then you're not going to drink it.
Pretty good.
Okay.
I'll give it a 7.1 out of 10.
Oh, that's
okay. So
bad.
The podcast is back, and guess what? We got podcast questions absolutely out the wazoo. So I guess we could either start with them or we could do like a little catch up.
Do you want to catch up?
You want to catch up?
Yeah, let's catch up.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Millie just turned 1. Millie's
Just
1.
turned 1.
She's walking.
Gosh. When I sat down in this seat, I was thinking about the last couple of times we podcasted and your mom was watching upstairs and she'd cry and it would upset me. That was a long time ago.
What do you think she's
One
doing
of the
right
first
now?
podcasts we did when Millie was born. She was a newborn. We were in the van. Shout out the Sprinter van. We're selling it.
Yeah.
If you want to buy it,
So if you want to buy the Sprinter van,
I'm giving it away.
we're giving away everything. So speaking of which, 12 Days of Christmas is right around the corner. We're upping it again. This is the 3rd year that we've done it now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
First year was Tampa.
The first year was Tampa?
Yeah, Tampa apartment. You and James
Wow.
and I did it.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Second year was even more fun. This year is going to be even more fun, and the prizes have just gotten even better. So,
We're elevating.
yeah, what else is new? So, Millie's 1.
Wow, that was kind of all over the place.
Millie's 1.
Yeah, Millie's 1. I'm 29.
Oh, yeah. You
I
just
had
had
a
a birthday.
Yeah, another year of life.
29. I'm 31, and Millie's 1.
So
How many-
that's our age. Doug is
What are some
8.
other ages? Okay.
That's our family history.
Okay.
We have a lot of people in our backyard.
Yeah, who cares? What else?
Imagine people listening like, what?
That's it. I don't feel like catching anybody up, to be honest, but we'll catch you up in
okay.
podcast. We're going to go straight into podcast questions.
Okay.
I've decided.
I hate doing
I've
this.
decided.
I hate you so much.
We're going to go straight into podcast questions. Also, guys,
Okay.
I'm coming in hot. Straight. I'm coming in hot straight off of a red-eye flight.
AJ.
Straight off a red-eye flight. So I haven't slept yet. So this podcast is going to be
it's clear.
completely off the rails. But thanks to you guys and sending in your podcast questions, it might keep us on the rails a little bit. If you want to send in your podcast questions, get inside of the Moto Academy app. People have been subscribing out the wazoo lately. A lot of new members. So shout out to all the new people in there. You guys are awesome. Shout out to the OGs. You guys are equally as awesome. I can't pick favorites. But yeah, post your podcast questions. Post your coaching wanted. Poach it. I'm looking at a hashtag right here, Alley Cat Whole Shot School. So somebody must be talking about your whole shot school. It's been popping off lately.
Yeah, free membership.
So it's a free
Subscribe.
membership?
Just got to watch and learn.
How do you
Mindset.
subscribe?
What?
What? How do you subscribe?
I was just going into the mindset about it.
Okay. Walk us through. How does the mindset work when it comes to Alley Cat Whole Shot
You
School?
just call it and you have it. They're talking
So you
about the
just have
live
to claim
streams. Yeah. You know
And
how
then
you
you've
call
got it?
out like who's first through fifth or whatever
Yeah.
when they join the live streams?
Yeah.
I joined 30 minutes late, but I got the whole shot.
Just cause?
Yeah, it's the mindset. You just call it and you get it.
That is true.
And now I have followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribers?
Yeah.
Subbies?
Yeah.
Sub
Hit
daddies?
me up. I got you.
Dave Drakes. First podcast question from Dave Drakes.
Wow.
David Drakes.
Congratulations on David Drake's new baby. She's beautiful.
Shout out.
Shout out, Maeve.
What's the best way to go about parenting in Moto? Our dads were rough on us, but what's the best happy medium to encourage / motivate your kid, but also not let them slack or not try their best?
Take it away. You're the dad.
I don't know.
If
I
it
don't
were
know.
up to me, Millie would never ride a dog.
I'm a helicopter. I have to constantly. I have to always check myself because I have helicopter
AJ's a
tendencies.
helicopter. we have a running joke because he freaks out sometimes over the littlest things.
So I don't know how I'm gonna be. To be honest, I don't know how I'm gonna find that balance other than just worrying about all the things.
You're gonna hover.
So I'm just gonna helicopter in and protect her.
Well, I asked you a couple weeks ago because you've been all gun ho on getting her all the bicycles. First she had the Strider, now she's got the Stay Sick.
Yeah, but not really.
No, you wanted her to have all those things. You got her the helmet. You've been putting her on the bike since she was like 4 months old. And then the other day I said I didn't want her to even ride. And you said, yeah, I don't either.
Yeah. Whoops.
Well, it's a little
Well, it's
probably
tough
too late for
because
that.
I know how to teach her it of all things. Like, so it makes sense that she should be introduced to it at
You
least.
can
I
teach
don't.
her anything. You know a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to teach her how to do?
Pole shots,
Layups.
layups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got really good layups, guys.
So, what's the best way to go about parenting in Moto?
I think you should parent in Moto the same way you parent
Yeah.
not in Moto,
Yes.
which is encourage all of
Learning.
the positive things.
Encourage awareness
Do you have
and
that?
learning. What?
Do you have
I didn't have it. I have it now.
I don't know about right in this moment, but yeah, I would just say parent the same way. Whenever I feel like most parents in Moto force their kids to do what they wanted to do themselves. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times parenting actually will go out the window and it just turns into like the parenting and then the motocross are like two separate things. And it's not. Like the dirt bike is a byproduct of how you operate in the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
that's
So-
not where I was going with that, but that was also a good point. Are you cold?
Am I cold?
You know, poke my eye out.
Am I?
No, a little bit. Yeah. Well, there was another point that I was trying to make and I forget it now. I just feel like parents in motocross are very forceful on their kids. Like you talked about your dad, and I think Dave's talked about his dad before growing up, like they were just kind of scary. But it's probably because they were trying to get you to live out the life that they wish that they lived out at that age. Do you know what I mean?
Or they also just want you to do well and try hard. And
Yeah.
also probably a lot of fear mixed in. Like I didn't know until after the fact my dad was always terrified to watch because he was just afraid. So he was probably
But yet
just,
he was aggressive towards you and made you scared so that you were probably riding a lot less safe. No?
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know, Dave Drakes. I honestly, we'll see. we'll see. I haven't really figured that out yet.
We're a good year ahead of him, so we'll know a year before.
We'll let you know. We'll keep you updated. Great question, and I could probably talk all day on it, but just not yet.
This is a dud.
Huh?
This is a dud.
What?
This is a dud. Third time's the charm.
I need a nap. All right, next podcast question. Bring them on out. Bring them out. Bring them out. Summer camp. Mine Moto has got one, so this is going to be a good one.
Are you hungry?
In your marriage, what role does being successful play? How as a couple do you stay humble and grounded in your relationship when experiencing personal or shared success? Ensuring it's strengthening your bond rather than creating distance. So let's just stop right there.
Could you read that one more time?
In your marriage,
Yeah.
what role does being successful play? How, as a couple, do you stay humble and grounded in your relationship when experiencing personal or shared success? Ensuring it's strengthening your bond rather than creating distance.
So is he saying success is like financial success?
Or career success, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think right now we're at a point where at least I don't care at all.
I think I'm regressing, not in our relationship, but just in like what I actually care about.
I don't care about a single material item.
Well, we kind of had this conversation the other day because that's not true.
What do I care about?
A car.
No. Oh, okay. So no.
We talk about this frequently.
Okay.
You're like the car.
So
the nicest car, the house. The nicest house.
So what role does being successful
I don't care
play?
at all.
I would say being successful, like in our like we don't. Maybe it's a privileged thing to say, but like I don't think we care at all. Right?
Just had to make sure I swallowed that.
Do we care at all?
Why would that be privileged?
Because we maybe
Have
success, some level of success. There's different varying levels to this, but
There's levels to it.
we have achieved some level of success, and it doesn't matter at all. But what it's done maybe is made me more particular.
I was just saying this to my sister the other day.
What?
Do you think that I need to be a Michelin chef because my dad accidentally brought you to Michelin restaurants, and now you think every meal you have needs to be 5-star, 6-course, and you hate everything I make all of a sudden? So that's that's a perfect example, actually.
Well, no. Yes, kind of. I mean, if I'm going to eat, I want to eat good food because, of course, why wouldn't I want to eat good food?
Yeah, but you want me to make like...
You do a good job.
You tell me every day that it's like a 6 out of 10.
Well, you've had some flops lately.
There's no flavor to this.
You've had some flops lately.
Yeah,
You've had a couple good ones lately too.
Yeah, I've been really trying hard.
And then like vehicles. So my argument there would be we do spend quite a bit of time in a car. Like we drive to Heirloom Market every day.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
So that's 40 minutes of driving daily. We've been hitting the dump regularly.
Yeah, we've been going to the dump
We
daddy
go to
so
Whole
much.
Foods every single day.
Yeah.
Where else do we go
So
every day? We go
privileged.
to the hiking trail a lot. So like, what?
I said so privileged.
What?
I said so privileged. Third time's the charm again.
Thanks, Allie. So we don't spend an ungodly amount of time in the car, but we spend enough time in the car.
We spent like 3 hours in the car a day.
And what we do is whoever's not driving is in the back with Millie. And at least in the foreseeable future, I see it being that way, even with another kid. Like it's fun to have the second parent back there hanging out.
Yeah.
I want a nice car to be hanging out in. What I realized with the Tundra, if you're sitting in the back seat of a Tundra, Tundras are the worst vehicle you
I don't know
have.
why they did it this way, but if you're in the back seat, you're at least
In
2
the
feet
ceiling.
above the driver.
You're in the ceiling.
And you can't see out the front of the car.
Nope.
Can't see out the sides.
It's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
And it's the roughest ride Ever.
Actually, let's take a moment now. Never buy a Toyota Tundra.
Don't buy a Toyota Tundra, especially if you're going to sit in the back seat.
No. You don't even need to go that far. Just don't buy one.
So, therefore, I want a baller SUV that rides like the baller that I am, so I can recline in the back.
The baller that I am. Okay, so
maybe like a tray for some food.
we went to look at a car and order a car a couple weeks back. And we're at this, I won't say what car, but we're sitting there and AJ goes, yeah, do they have the the executive package for the second row? You know how it had like the console with the pad?
I want that.
The guy looks at him and he's like, I don't think that you guys would want that.
No. Well, this is the thing. I don't want to be driving the vehicle. I want to just be in the back the whole time. Just recline as far as that seat will go.
Mama C's going to be driving
But sitting in the back of like a proper luxury SUV is a completely different experience than sitting in the back of a Toyota Tundra. And if I'm going to be spending an hour and a half of my day every day in the car, then it should be the nicest car humanly possible.
When we say the nicest car humanly possible, the car that we ordered is not like, somebody wouldn't guess that probably. It's not like an outrageous. What?
I was going to say Kia Telluride, but those are actually probably pretty nice.
Yeah, they are. I'm pretty sure
it doesn't matter. It's probably it's an expensive vehicle, and it's
just a really good SUV. It's not like
who the
outrageous.
Heck cares? Anyways, I don't care about that. I care about the experience while in the thing. Same thing for our house. Like, are we dumping a shiz ton of money into our house? Too much, some would say.
I mean, all would say. I think that the way to be successful in a relationship,
spend all of it.
Well, that's his mentality. My mentality is quite the opposite, but I think that's kind of why we work, is because we're both a really good balance to each other. Like,
yeah, I don't care about money really at all.
It shows. Thank you.
But because I think in my head, the reality that I live is I'm making currently the least amount of money that I'll ever make. And it's
You always say that. Cool.
And it's more than I need. So I'll never make less than this. I'll always continue to make more. And it's already more than I need.
But that's not a reason to spend it all.
So spend it all.
You love to spend.
No, just refining experiences. So nice vehicle, good experience. Nice backyard, a pool, a hot tub.
A wife that cooks like shiz.
Those are the reasons that I want to be successful. That's it. Just so like my life is
comfortable?
Yeah. But I've definitely maybe taken it, like my life is borderline too comfortable. I don't do anything to make myself uncomfortable other than...
I totally agree.
Other than cold plunge.
AJ and I were actually, I was trying to be forceful the other day. We were not arguing because we never argue, but I was trying to force him to go mountain biking with Bryce. Where is that? Case Mountain or whatever.
Yep.
I've been trying to talk AJ into working out for like a year, at least a year now. Because when I had Millie, you were working out every day, of course. And then you just stopped and you don't do anything to take care of yourself now. And it drives me insane. I feel like most wives, if their husbands were going to like go to the track to ride or go to the gym or do what they love, would maybe be annoyed and complain. I'm like trying to push AJ to go.
Yeah, I just want to be home because it's like I feel like my travel schedule is hectic. So when I'm home,
well, it has been the last 2 months, but I don't think that's the only reason. I also think it's now laziness.
Well, no, I'm really content doing nothing. You know what my favorite thing to do is, besides obviously hanging out with mill dogs? Just obviously going for a walk in the backfield. Like when I had a call with that doctor from Blokes the other day, he goes, "Do you work out excessively? Because you have an awful like you're burning through. Like your muscle breakdown is a little high." And I was like, "Well, I go for walks." He's probably like, this is 31? Like,
this guy's such a tool.
Then he was asking about my diet. And
I had steak and lobster.
Yeah, he's like,
my wife cooks like crap.
I was trying to figure out what the meal was, and it was either steak or lobster. And he's like, fancy, huh? Like, you could tell this guy was just, his eyes couldn't have rolled further back in his head, kind of like Dave Drake's. Good question, mine, Moto. And sorry we didn't give you the most serious answer.
Sorry we didn't answer you.
But
I truly
Yeah.
think we just have a good balance.
I think there was a stage before you had really acquired any level of success or money where we wanted material things, and then as soon as you get them, you realize that it's unimportant, and then, or hopefully you do. I think we did immediately. Even, I mean, it just, yeah, whatever. Next question. Anything you want to add to that?
I wasn't given the opportunity.
Well, I think it's important for me because
I just feel like it's good to have balance. I think there's certain things where if you hit a level of success where you can afford to do certain things that make you happy. I know he loves to road bike. Like, if you want to get a nice road bike when you hit a certain level of success that you couldn't otherwise afford, before, or if you really care about what you put in your body and you want to eat good food that's pasture raised and grass fed, or like there's certain things like that are non-negotiables for me. But I would never need you to buy me clothes or a bag or shoes or flowers or stupid things that
I bought you that Kennebunkport
you did.
sweater.
Actually, I bought it myself.
You did?
With your card on my phone, but
Oh.
yeah, thanks. I don't know.
Great question. Sorry that our answers are horrible.
I think balance. No, the answer is balance.
And the balance is hard when you have a kid because all of a sudden it just becomes all about the baby and nothing else matters. So
we
it's
currently have no balance with
we-
each other.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
It's
I
all
was
about
actually
Millie.
just smiling in my head when you were saying that you love how one parent sits in the back seat with the other, with the kid, because most people would,
They don't do that.
no, they would think it's ruining their relationship. But I feel like you and I have such a good foundation of understanding this phase of life that
Yeah, but it is a balance. Like we could take it too far.
we have taken it too far.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, how are you?
What's your name? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah, Millie's been sleeping with us still. That's another update, I
We
guess. So
co-sleep?
she's over a year old now and still sleeping with us. And
I look at AJ every day and I'm like, should
she
we?
asks me every day if she should keep doing it. I'm like, I don't know.
No, but you always say yes. Here comes the helicopter dad.
And I don't know if it's good or bad.
It's actually, I think it depends on the person you ask and their outlook on life and just their values and things in general.
We'll see. We'll let you know.
Most other countries co-sleep with their children.
Millie is a little clingy at the moment. You think it's just because she's in pain because of her teeth?
Yeah, it's also just the age she's at. A lot of kids at this age are clingy. It's not because a lot of the research out there and the things that I've read say that like the more dependent your child can be on you in their younger years, the more it fosters independence in their older years.
Yeah.
But a kid is going to need me until they say infancy lasts until 3 years. So like, I don't know. I'm very happy with our decision to co-sleep. I just sometimes worry that it's more difficult on me than I'd like, but it's been amazing.
Let us know. Are you guys co-sleeping?
Yeah.
Who's sleeping with who? Moto Academy, let us know. Who's sleeping with who?
You're asking a podcast producer who's co-sleeping. No, your audience. Oh my god, this is hilarious. Did you try
We got
me?
a lot. We got a lot of people in Moto Academy that
Go sleeping?
yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot of co-sleepers out there. Inside TMA. All right, Garrett Hart. There's no gummies involved tonight. Nothing, I promise.
Never. There are never, AJ. Thanks.
Garrett Hart. Hashtag podcast question. AJ and Allie, how do you both find balance having ambitious goals, 10-year plans with the demands and desires to be an excellent parent to your child / children? Yeah, I guess expounding a little bit on the my Moto question.
You're doing what?
Huh?
What did you just say?
Expounding? I don't know if that's the right word or
Okay.
not. Is it?
Expanding? I don't know. I've never heard of expounding before.
Don't know. Elaborating further. I could be wrong.
Oh.
But my vocabulary is pretty ridiculous, so I'm probably right. How do you both find balance having ambitious goals? So, okay. This is my strategy. I think it's a great one. You fast forward further than the 10 years and figure out like what the end goal is. So fast forward the whole way. Fast forward to 100. How long am I going to live? 125?
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm going to be around for a while.
What about
So
me?
125 years old. Like, what do I want to be doing at 125 years old? Like, what's the end game?
I just feel like that's...
It's quality time with family. Probably. Obviously.
I would
Right?
hope so,
What else
yeah.
would it be? So everything and anything you're doing before that is working to get there. So don't get lost in just like way too many people set goals that are monetary only and then pigeonhole themselves in things they don't want to be doing.
Oh, because you could be making so much money, but working nonstop.
Yeah, the money
Yeah.
becomes irrelevant pretty quickly. Like we just talked about. There's different levels to it, but you don't need that much money to be completely free and like satisfied and content and be able to just spend. And then it's about unlocking quality time. So I think I was able to like fast forward enough to see that. So like now I just take it slow. I know what I'm working towards. If you had asked me that question 5 years ago, I was not doing it in a balanced way. Actually,
Oh my gosh.
2 years ago, 2022 was like the peak of not balance.
Tampa? Yeah.
Like going into Tampa, the year before Tampa and Tampa year. Yeah, like no
Too
balance.
much.
It was just crazy.
Full on. Yeah.
But also kind of necessary, like when you look at the trajectory of how things went. So it was like a sprint of a year when we started collaborating with Jet, and it was a conversation I had with Lucas too. I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm just gonna go crazy this year. Like as many classes we can book me for, like let's take advantage of it while we can. And it definitely that worked, but it was not sustainable. And now it's just like the goal is balance, whatever the heck balance means. Shout out Ruby, by the way, for making this
So cute.
bracelet at Verona Oaks yesterday. She gave it to me, and I like it.
Does it have your initials on it or anything?
Yep, it says AJ.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Love
shout
it.
out Ruby.
That looks
Which
good.
is such a cool story because Ruby was in our announcement video with Jet on a CRF 50.
Oh, that's who Ruby is.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And
had her
now she
confused with
rides
the-
an
okay.
85 or a Super Mini with like completely perfect technique.
That's awesome.
Well, does all the jumps, like an amazing rider. I think they're going to do summer camp Salt Lake City.
How old is she?
Which would be super cool. I don't know. I don't even want to guess because I don't want to offend her. But
Okay. I don't think you could offend a young...
I would
Young
guess
person.
like on the verge of being a teenager.
Okay. That's good
Maybe a
enough.
little younger than that.
That's good.
I have no idea. Yeah. So Garrett, maybe that answers your question. But that's so tough because if I was advising somebody that was 18 years old or 21 years old, I would say, yes, have that vision of like what you want all the way at the end so you can make sure you're working towards it. But maybe it's okay to have a little bit of like not balance at the beginning.
Well, of course, to get yourself to a stage of like comfortability, right?
Well, the balance that we have now would not be possible. It would not have been
Absolutely
possible
not.
3 years
Right.
ago because I didn't have employees or I didn't have enough employees.
Yeah.
And forget about employees. Like you have to have just systems and everything in place so that the employees know what the heck they're doing and things are going smoothly and I'm not putting out fires all the time. Like it feels weird now to like having a red eye flight last night. It's now 5 p.m. as we're recording. I haven't done much of anything today. As I shouldn't have to do much of anything with what we've put in place, but it feels weird. Like I'm used to like things going catastrophically wrong or like things being missed, and now that's just not happening anymore because everybody's so dialed in.
Yeah, it's cool.
awesome.
Like if either of us cared about money or materialistic things, you wouldn't have as much money invested in employees and things like that if we cared about money and materialistic
Right.
things.
The percentage of like our gross profit versus how much I'm paying or what our payroll is very lopsided. I think I've said that in the podcast before. That will even out over time, but for like the time being, my thought with that was like that my time is of the most value, period.
Yeah. No amount of money could
No amount of money.
make it worth him being less involved as our family grows than he is now.
Again, slightly privileged thing to say, sort of, but you need to have that way of thinking on your radar, because if not, then you'll chase the dollar endlessly.
Yeah.
To which
You and I
you will
have talked
no
about that a
fulfillment.
lot, though, and obviously it's easy to say in this position, but if something happened tomorrow and we weren't able to afford this house or to afford any of the things that we have now, I would be so happy with
Yeah.
living in a little trailer
Yep.
in a mobile home.
And that level of
to still have the
detachment,
time
I
with
think,
you.
is what allows you to actually attract the things in the first place. It's difficult. It's hard to put the cart before the horse on that one. Because, again, you could say it's a privileged thing to say. Like, somebody wouldn't understand that. Of like, oh, no, of course, like, money is the most important thing. But, yeah, it's not. Anyways, who cares? Next question. Jackson. Is AJ sick of Allie trying to sneak cottage cheese into every recipe?
Oh, I would guess the answer for that is a big fat no.
No,
That's
actually,
the one thing
'cause
you don't complain about.
Yeah, that is the one thing I don't complain about.
Yeah.
Actually, the cottage cheese going into every recipe, I'm actually a fan of. Especially, have you released your pancake recipe?
Oh, I should do that. Why don't I do a little ebook for recipes for like high protein? Just that?
Just the pancake recipe. That's
Well,
all
a lot
anybody
of
needs.
subscribers follow me on Instagram, and I've had a handful of people ask me that are in the app on Instagram.
By
for
far the
recipe.
best tasting pancakes I've ever had in my entire
Oh,
life.
they'd be fluffy.
By far.
Yeah.
And healthy, apparently.
Yeah, they're like 11 grams of protein per pancake.
And because they're cottage cheese,
Yeah,
which sounds disgusting, but
delicious.
delicious.
So
Delicious,
good.
delicious. Post like
You want me to do a cooking?
just do a
channel?
cooking live stream. People would eat that up.
They would?
Pun intended. Yeah. You kidding me? Bunch of people co-sleeping?
I was just going to make a joke about that, and I decided not to.
Good question. Who is that?
Jackson.
Bad question. Just
Who
kidding.
was that?
Local A class. A bunch of OGs in this comment thread. Thank you guys. Local A class says, what is one thing you each want to start doing? Not business related, but haven't yet. And what are the steps to get there? Also, shout out Alley Cat Whole Shot School.
Yes.
Shout out.
Shout out local A class.
What's one thing you want to start doing?
I talk about it frequently.
Starting the business? You just said not business related. So
Oh, well, but it wouldn't be.
yes, it would. So she wants to start. You want to?
Okay, so I have this problem. Now that Millie's old enough, I am really wanting to start getting into taking care of myself again and putting like a lot more focus into it than I have been the last year. And I loved Pilates before having a baby, especially Solid Core, which is like a brand. And we have none close to us. The closest one's like 30 minutes away. And I wanted to open one in our town. And I have this really cool idea of doing like a Pilates studio with like a juice bar and coffee shop. And I've been talking about wanting to open my own business for so long. But it's only because, one, I think I could kick butt at it because I know what's missing. And two, because selfishly, like I could use it, you know? So it's not really, it's businessy, but it's selfish because it's a personal thing.
That's fair. That's
But
a good answer.
if you had to ask me for a personal thing, it would just be working out more, which leads
and
into
the question was, what is one thing you each want to start doing? I mean, I guess working out would be my thing.
It needs to be your thing. No
But-
offense.
Yeah, why aren't
I want to
working
get,
out?
like, when I think about,
The only reason I'm not working out right now is because our gym is horrible.
that is
So I'm
such a
gonna run
bad
with that
excuse.
I'm just
You
not
get
motivated
people-
to go to that.
That
place.
is an excuse. There's so many dump trucks there. It's unbelievable.
No, there's not. First of all,
Oh, is that why?
never when I'm there.
You point them out every time I drop you off. And yes, we drop each other off because we only have one car right now. I think personally, you should get back into cycling and mountain biking.
That's just so time consuming.
AJ,
I'm gonna put Millie in one of the trailers on the back.
No,
we'll
you
just
could
ride
and
case
then
mountain.
I'll get some time to myself. No,
Or maybe I could get her maybe she's big enough now where I could get her the little handlebar set up.
you're
If I
not
could go
going
with
mountain
her-
biking with her like that.
Yeah, she'd be safe.
But you have the little system to do it in our sunroom. Where you literally, it takes you no time. You get on and off and you can be in the house while she's here. It's been a year. You were doing it like the first week she was born. Do you remember? You would take the night shift so I could sleep from like
Oh yeah.
7 to 10 or midnight.
Oh God, but getting back into cycling when you've been out of it for a while. I don't think there's anything worse.
What are you always preaching to people?
Don't care.
All I have to say is
I'd rather get Shred City. Let's start there. But I'm not even motivated to do that. I don't know.
What motivates
I'm in a
you
slump.
other than what?
Huh?
You're in a slump?
I'm in a physical slump.
Well,
I want to ride more. Definitely.
I would love to see
I would love to ride more.
I would love to ride a dirt bike, obviously.
Yes.
I would love to see you get up in the morning, like an hour before Millie and I do, meet up with Bryce on your bicycle, and do however long you can ride in an hour, however far. I don't know. Or do it by
No.
yourself.
Because it's probably 25 degrees outside of that.
Okay,
time.
so then you do it in the sunroom, and you get up, and you do it, and you make us a pot of coffee, and then we wake up, and you've already got your workout in, and maybe you also get to do like 30 minutes of work on your phone. You need to start doing that. Because right now it's either work or us, and there's no time for you, and it bothers me.
There's plenty of time for me.
Not in the way of like actually taking care of yourself. There's not.
Yeah, there is.
How?
I meditate like nobody's business. So many times a day. 6 times a day.
What?
More than that. Way more than that. 10
What?
times a day.
By the way, you've got a lot of eyebrow movement right now. You're like taking turns.
Yeah, I need advice from Moto Academy people. Get me out of my workout slump.
We should somehow, I guess it's difficult for people to be able to get on your bike upstairs. What is that thing called?
Zwift. I don't
you
want to
do
start there. Let me start in the gym. Let
No.
me start in the gym.
You need endurance. Every time AJ goes to the gym, he works out for like 15 or 20 minutes max. He gets out and he says that he almost passed out.
It's because I literally am almost passing out of the gym.
That is pathetic.
My energy, something is happening. I'm getting to the gym and literally
Something is happening. You literally, for the last 25 years probably, have done rigorous endurance. And then all of a sudden, in the last year, you do nothing. Your body's probably in shock. Like, why the heck aren't we exercising anymore?
Whether you like it or not, everything that is happening at this moment is a result of the choices you've made in the
I
past.
hate the way his lips move when he reads.
Unfortunately, a lot of us make choices unconsciously, and therefore we don't think they're choices, and yet they are. If I were to insult you, you would most likely make the choice of being offended. If I were to pay you a compliment, you would most likely make the choice of being pleased or flattered. But think about it. It's still a choice. I could offend you and I could insult you, and you could make the choice of not being offended. I could pay you a compliment, and you could make the choice of not letting that flatter get to you either. In other words, most of us, even though we are infinite choice makers, have become bundles of conditioned reflexes that are constantly being triggered by people and circumstances into predictable outcomes of behavior. These conditioned reflexes are like Pavlovian conditioning. Pavlov is famous for demonstrating that if you give a dog something to eat every time you ring a bell, soon the dog starts to salivate when you just ring the bell because it has associated one stimulus with the other. Most of us, as a result of conditioning, have repetitious and predictable responses to the stimuli in our environment. Our reactions seem to be automatically triggered by people and circumstances, and we forget that these are still choices that we are making in every moment of our existence. We are simply making these choices unconsciously. That was pretty redundant, but pretty great at the same time. Okay.
So what relevance did that have?
I just felt like reading
Okay.
a page. I just read it randomly. Loki Hampson. Great name, first of all. Podcast question.
Chinese.
Could Jet be as successful on any brand of motorcycle, or is it technique with the bike that creates such a powerful combination? Allie, I'll let you take that one away.
What do I know? Take it away. I would
The
guess
Lawrences
yes.
have proved to be good at setting bikes up, so they would take any platform and make it good. What's nice about the Honda now is the 25 that they're riding currently is a bike that they have been basically creating for the past however many years. And it's really good. Because
You've ridden it?
Yeah, I rode one in Idaho last week, and I rode one yesterday in San Diego. And it's a million times better than the 2024, which they would have had no hand in designing. What? What's going on? That's part one of his question. Good question. Part two. How do you carve... Oh, totally unrelated here. How do you carve up a jump face, and is it something we should be working on? Allie?
Don't even know what that is.
How do you carve up a jump face?
Like,
I mean...
Like, how do you make it with...
Carving up a jump face? No, that's a pretty... It's a sort of a higher level thing to do. Like the scrubs... When you're first learning, a scrub really should just be a quick twitch movement. So much less of a carve, like you would be straight going up the takeoff and twitching all at once with the hips and the knees right at the top of the takeoff. That's the type of scrub that you would be doing for a while at the beginning. It's not until you're hitting much larger jumps where you're letting the bike maybe go out a little slower, come back slower, that you'd start to do that carve up the takeoff. And of course, with the carve, it's a lot higher risk as well. For me to answer that question with anybody, like I would have to see footage of you doing the twitch version of a scrub to be able to give you the A-OK or the thumbs down. It's been cool at class. Like I've been really lecturing when it comes to jump time to ask the right questions and to ask me before you go and jump something, where I think what would happen before is I wouldn't preface that at the beginning and then everybody would jump things that they shouldn't be jumping just because it was jump time and they just thought that's what they should do. So now everybody will ask, usually, and I find myself saying no all the time. Like yesterday, I said no to almost there was a double going up a hill after a corner that we were working, and I said no to more than half of the people that wanted to do it. Like, hey guys, who wants to do it? The hands would go up, and I would just say nope, nope, nope. I would explain why and where they should start and progress on instead.
Do they appreciate that?
Yeah. Well, it might hurt the ego a little bit, but I definitely explain why. And so beneficial because that is how people get themselves hurt is they think they're ready for a step of progression. They're not. But anyways, who cares? Next question. Ricky Thorpe, shout out.
Shout out.
Hey, AJ, just wanted to ask, what is your favorite thing about being a coach? I aspire to be a coach and play some other roles in the sport and just really gravitate towards you guys and the content you put out. Oh, that's awesome. Keep up the great work, and thank you for inspiring a new path for me to take. Very cool. So what was the question? What's your favorite thing about being a coach? Just being able to help different people in different ways, and everybody's different. So it's never the same experience. It never gets old. It never gets boring. I don't feel like I'm reiterating the same things over and over, although sometimes I sort of am. But I feel like it's just always that challenge to try to break through to somebody, whether it's a 7-year-old kid or a 57-year-old guy or a girl that's just getting into it or a pro rider that's kind of hit a plateau or whatever it is. Everybody's a little bit different, and that's why I'm into psychology is like I just want to try to figure out how people tick and how to break through to them quickly. And it's awesome. So yeah, being a coach is like it's the highest pursuit, much more so than being the athlete. The athlete is like almost in some ways it's almost like doing it for the money, to where it's a certain point there isn't a whole lot of fulfillment that comes from just being the athlete.
It's money and ego, right?
Yeah, sorta.
Well, and talent, of course.
What else are you competing for? Like it's you're competing, it's competition. So when you get outside of the competition realm and you're more focused on being creative and just being able to help people, you realize like that's what's important. And it's endlessly fulfilling. So yeah, shout out Ricky. Anybody could be a coach too, by the way. I think what's cool about my situation is I can hop on a bike and do it quite well. And I think that that's fun for people, but half the people probably relate to Mitchell more than me anyways. right? Mitchell's a great rider, don't get me wrong, but he has a completely different trajectory of like he started late. So
Yeah,
people
totally
will relate
different
to
story.
different people for different reasons. So you
It's-
never think that like you can't be a coach because of X, Y, and Z. People will relate to you no matter what your situation.
I always see comments on different trainers, yours, the other trainers, about how they're not. You guys aren't like the top in the sport. You're not the ones winning the races. But if you look at any other sport,
Obviously.
yeah, it's just
How
weird
could
that
you possibly be the
it's
top
weird that
athlete
in
and the top coach
Supercross,
at the same time? You could not. It's not possible.
but they don't question that in football or basketball or any of those sports. It's just in Supercross or dirt bikes for some reason.
Maybe they must do it in other sports too, but
Why? Because it's so normal. It's
Yeah.
not normal. It's not normal in Supercross to have coaches or dirt bikes or Supercross, motocross.
yeah,
whatever you
it
call
was almost like it was like looked down upon for the longest time, as if like it was the person that couldn't do, so therefore they just became a coach.
Which also,
Which is
it was just smart because it was a way of making money because most racers make no money. So
yeah.
that's what
And if you
started
can't
it,
ride,
but
you can still be a great coach. But
it's just weird that they
I
think
can-
that
let's face it, Dave Drakes, I can ride.
Dave Drakes. Why Dave?
Every
Drakes?
time I talk myself up when it comes to riding, I think of Dave Drakes.
No, why?
Because I think he was at a class one time where I was talking about Tomac or somebody else, and my name by myself got tossed into that mix. It wasn't that, but it was the way that he repeats it back now is hilarious.
That's too funny.
So, but I'm very good at riding. I have crazy bike skill. I can kind of do all of the things. I can hop on any bike from a 50 to a 450 to a 5.
I think that's the cool thing about your job too, is you've ridden so many.
So that's just an
bikes.
extra
Yeah.
cool factor on top of it. But you don't have to. It's not even totally necessary. I think that is kind of what separates us a little bit. But Finn, shout out Ruby and Finn. Should you do a hard reset on a really fast young rider or slowly add different techniques? I.e., a 9-year-old Loretta's top 10 rider. Should you do a hard reset?
So is Ruby 9?
Or should you slowly add in different techniques? He was talking to me about this at class. He was referencing, I think, somebody they ride with that's really fast.
Okay.
At 9 years old, hard reset. That they're not going to be a top 10 Loretta's rider probably that year. Like if you're doing a proper hard reset, but who cares, right? Take a year off, do it the right way, figure it out. Speed doesn't matter when you're 9 years old. Speed doesn't matter when you're 19 years old. Really? I mean, there's the Degans and the Lawrences and, the Catanzaros and the people that...
Go to break. I'm just waiting. Jackson's going to clip that and we're just going to get
There's
ours.
the people that go pro when they're very young, but those are also people that were on just a trajectory from a young age and whatever.
That's
that
completely
timeline
different,
is
yeah.
not relevant. The foundation and doing it right comes first. So don't just sprinkle it in, like hard reset it and do it the right way. Great question. And I'm adamant about that answer. Like, I think that's really important. And nobody does that because they don't have the patience to do it. And they're wrapped up in Loretta's results and amateur national results and all this stuff that I've said it time and time and time again. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what do I know? Mike and Andrew,
Shout out.
shout out. Alley Cat, have you decided to learn to ride dirt bikes yet? And if so, who will train you? It has been scientifically proven that husbands cannot train their wives. Yes, and we've proved that.
That's not true. You could train me now and I would listen.
Okay. Well, once upon a time, I tried to train you, and you refused.
Well, I was young and dumb. So were you.
And then Phil Nicoletti, you had Phil
he
Nicoletti
did a great.
train
He was a better trainer than you.
Phil is, yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah. Shout out Phil.
And I think Amart was helping too. So shout out Phil and Amart.
Why do you call him A-Mart?
What?
Why do you call him A-Mart?
Alex Martin. Yeah. I don't know. Alexander. Sorry. Philip and Alexander.
Call 'em by their
Shout out.
names.
Shout out Philip and Alexander.
I
for helping
do. I
Allie.
would like to ride, but I don't want to ride on a track with a bunch of people.
There was a French girl at class yesterday. She asked for my number, but I said, no, sorry.
Oh.
I have a baby.
She can have you.
And she had a KLX 140.
I have a baby.
It was the perfect bike. Perfect bike. So
Yeah, but
and her
I don't
husband,
like when they're big. I like to be bigger than them.
right. But this is like a good size.
Okay.
It's like your size.
Okay.
Like yeah. I was watching her and I was thinking of you. I'm like, that's the perfect bike for her to learn on. What?
Nothing.
No, she hasn't. She's been flaking on it.
No, there's just been zero opportunity.
Zero opportunity. Because I don't ride. So
He doesn't ride. I have a baby.
yeah, there's a lot going on.
It's
Dawson
pipe dream.
401.
Shout out.
Can't pick favorites, but definitely one of my favorites. Speaking of favorites, his question is favorite and least favorite thing about each other. # drama. Okay.
No, I think you're gonna have to go first because I'm gonna have to. AJ's not gonna be able to say anything nice about me.
Okay. What's my least favorite thing about
He's not
you?
good at compliments. I know. I talk too much.
Oh, yeah. But that's not really it.
Oh, really?
That's not, yeah.
So I can continue talking your ear off?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a hoarder.
I thought you were saying something.
She's a vehicle hoarder, guys.
I just
Like,
have a child.
to the point where when you open doors, it just things
That's called having a baby. Millie plays with
fly
things.
out of the car.
No, he's exaggerating. He's exaggerating. I have a baby, and I'm alone most of the time with that baby.
So least favorite thing about you, you're a hoarder. Favorite
Okay.
thing about you,
right.
you make good filet mignon.
That's your favorite thing about me?
Yeah.
That's not your favorite thing about me?
No.
That I made that cuteness?
I like a lot of things about you. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. You go first.
All right. Least favorite thing about you?
Favorite thing about you.
Ooh, I got a lot of things I don't like about you. Should I name them all or just one?
Just the least favorite thing. Name the number one
But
thing.
they're all kind of even. Like the way you chug water, the way you bite your nails, the way you chew with your mouth open.
I don't chew with my mouth open. I just open
Oh
my
my
mouth to put more
gosh, you
food
do.
in. I open my mouth to then put more food into my mouth.
The way
How do you
I'll
expect
ask,
me-
the way I'll ask for help with something, and then 20 minutes later, and I go to throw the trash out in the trash that was supposed to be thrown out when you told me you would do it, and then I
it's
can't.
because when I go to empty the trash, you've managed to get disgusting Doug's raw meat on the outside of the trash bag because you've overfilled it so
I
bad.
fed the dog for you.
And
Because I fed the dog. No, you know what's funny is there's actually
so I boycotted taking the trash out.
if I had to pick the thing I liked the least about you, it would be stupid things like that because there's nothing I really don't like about you. I really actually like you as a person, so that's good. My favorite thing about you would probably be my favorite thing about you would probably be
You got some pale ankles.
also, why is it making a noise when you blink? I hate that about you.
That wasn't my eyes. That was my mouth.
No, it was your. Well, then you blinked and made that noise at the same exact time.
Really?
Yeah. Favorite thing about you would be that
Who cares? Next question.
would be that you like coffee as much as me and you're willing to do
Yeah, and I
anything to
didn't
get
like
it.
coffee up until very recently, really. which is
Literally
crazy.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Shout out Black Rifle Coffee for getting me into coffee.
Oh, but,
Even though I didn't necessarily
no
like that
offense.
coffee, but that's what made me start dabbling in coffee.
which makes zero sense.
Well, I was sponsored by them, so it did make sense.
That stuff was.
I liked the taste of like the canned stuff, but it had a lot of
Oh my
horsepower.
gosh! Did you ever tell the story about what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mike and Andrew, goal setting. How do
You
you,
didn't even tell me one thing you liked about me. Oh, you said filet. That's okay. It's not important, but I just was pointing that out for later.
I'll think of something. Goal setting. How do you two keep your separate goals in life aimed on the same path? I don't think we have separate goals.
We're actually so different. If someone were to meet us, they would think we're very different, but we are very much the same person.
Yeah. Like if you gave us a 100 question
Questions.
test
Not about each other, but just about preferences on
to see if we
life,
aligned,
everything would.
it would all be,
Yeah.
we'd answer exactly the same on every single thing, I think. Which is interesting.
He just does it in a. The only thing that's different about us and the way we go about things is you're just a little bit meaner.
Yeah. I don't care about.
I get there a little more kindly.
Yeah.
But-
But I'm also, what's weird though about that,
Creates less problems being that way.
I'm fair. I'm honest. I'm all of the adjectives. Are those adjectives? Yeah. All of the adjectives that you'd want, but the delivery sometimes is just like, I don't care to.
How you perceive it. Yeah.
Well, I do care how somebody perceives it to a certain extent.
Are you seeing things?
Yeah, is the wall starting to do something? Anyways.
The paint's peeling in between?
Yeah, something's going on. The most expensive wall of all time to paint.
The $1,800 painted wall?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some situations with contractors, guys. We could
so
talk
over it.
all day about that. Yeah, Mike and Andrew, we truly have we're aligned.
But it wasn't always that way. I would say it was
Right. No, it definitely wasn't.
like the last 3 or 4 years have just been really good.
Well, I think at the beginning there was a long time where we just didn't know. We didn't
I knew.
know.
You just weren't
You
there.
knew what?
I knew.
Knew what?
All of it. I knew it all. The things I answer now, I would have answered the same way back then.
Not me.
Yeah, we know. Her voice is so cute.
Mark 24. My races are generally on a Sunday. Should I do any light exercise the day before to get my muscles active? Yes. The best races I've ever had are actually probably races where I've ridden the day before. I don't know if anybody else is like that. I think Cade talked about that in a podcast or a live stream that we did. Just
why
something
would I-
about staying loose.
But why do I feel like the Lawrences didn't ride? Did they ride on Fridays?
They do press days sometimes, but they don't
But they
ride
never
much
did, right?
mid-season. Like they take a lot of time off. Like before this Paris race that they just did, I think they took that time off from the last race prior to that race. They're taking time off now, I think, as they should.
Gosh.
But yeah, do something to loosen up a little bit. It will be helpful. And also don't stress about the fact that you might think you're tiring yourself out. As long as you're reasonable about not going like into crazy zone 4 and zone 5, spending a lot of time there, you'll be okay. And if anything, you should just keep the blood flowing. It'll help with inflammation. It'll help you just feel better. Coming from the guy that doesn't work out. Well, there you have it, folks. An hour on the dot. Look at us.
Did we get through all of them?
We got through all of them, I think. So let us know. Like, do you like just the podcast questions episodes with Allie and myself? Did we do horrible?
Definitely horrible. I honestly, the only reason why I haven't wanted to podcast with you is because I feel like the last couple of times just was a little flat. So
Did this
that's
one
why I
feel
took
flat?
a break. I don't know.
Rate it.
I always feel
Rate this podcast.
on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yep.
6.8.
I was going to say,
That? Of course you are. Mike and Andrew. I miss our, and I want to cook us dinner.
okay, Moto Academy podcast. I'll get some sleep tonight. Tomorrow, we're going live with Riley Hawk
Oh, are you?
in the app. Pretty cool.
Super cool.
Maybe he'll bring Tony on.
Tony?
Tony.
That's super cool. Is he in the app?
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's going to be now, right? If he's
I
going
guess
live.
So, yeah, did I tell that story in this podcast
Nope.
yet? So typical me.
So everyone's already clicked off the podcast, by the way.
Oh, I've done this many a time where like I'm having a conversation with somebody, they're relatively famous or maybe very famous, and I just don't know because I don't pay attention. I don't know. And so I'm saying hi to everybody the morning of class. Hey, 10 a.m. riders meeting, 10 a.m. riders meeting. Hey, how you doing? 10 a.m. riders meeting. And as I'm walking away, Ezra looks at me and he goes, dude,
shout out Ezra Tate.
do you know who that just was? And I'm like, who? He goes, that's Riley Hawk, like pro skateboarder Riley Hawk, Tony Hawk's son, Riley Hawk. And I was like, what? Really? And super cool, great rider. And that's what I want to, great rider or not, I want to start facilitating more of like the crossover from people, because what's interesting is the first thing he said, I was like, does your dad ride? And he goes, actually, no, my dad, when he first learned like that I was getting into riding, whenever he started riding, goes, you're going to get yourself hurt. So like that was Tony's perception of Moto. So I want to flip that perception in people's heads. And I feel like I could teach anybody, but especially high level athletes, you know, whether it be fighters, there's a lot of fighters that have been wanting to hop on the bike, actors, like cool people that want to hop on. But yeah, we're going to have Riley Hawk on the live stream tomorrow. So if you guys have questions, this won't be out yet, so I don't know why I'm saying it. Okay, Moto Academy podcast, that's it. We're going to go hang out with Millie.
Toodles.
Don't know what episode this is, but toodaloo.